guys, welcome back to Urban Rhino Tutorials. On this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a rhinestone and jewel unicorn. We sell the kit to create this on our website. I will include a link in the comments below, and you will receive the wood unicorn like this, as well as one color, one little pot of paint, and all of the jewels and glue to cover it. So the first step is I'm going to take my paintbrush and my paint here. So I'm going to use kind of this lavender color, and I'm going to begin painting the unicorn. I want to put a layer of paint down first so that in areas where the jewels don't touch, you will see the purple or the lavender through instead of seeing the wood color through. I'm going to put this towel down underneath. You can put a piece of scrap paper, wax paper, whatever you want underneath so you can protect your surface. So I'm just putting an even coat on all of this, and you will receive a paintbrush. It's kind of a medium-sized paintbrush. You can certainly grab a larger one if you have one to use. I like using the smaller ones because the paint dries really quick and it allows me to spread it out in time, so I'm not putting big globs on at one time. It also will give me the chance to paint along the edge. I want to make sure I get this side here too. You don't need to do the back, but you know, if you hang this up, let's say on a child's wall, you would see this raw edge if you don't paint it. So you want to make sure you get that too. So I'm going to finish painting all of this and let it dry. When I return, I'm going to show you how to begin placing your jewels and rhinestone and sequins on the unicorn. All right, so we have the unicorn all painted and she's dry. And basically for the next step, you should have several different bags of kind of embellishments to use on your unicorn. So some silver beads, mixed color beads, some rhinestones, larger beads, and some flowers. And all of them are kind of in a general, the same kind of color scheme. So we've got pink, purple, turquoise, and silver. And then the last thing here is this little piece of silver glitter scrapbook paper, and I'm going to use that for the horn, the unicorn horn there. And I'm going to begin with that, and in order to do that, you can do it a couple different ways. I think the easiest way is basically to just trace it on there and then cut around it. If you want to fill this in with jewels, then you certainly can do that. Grab my marker here. So I am going to trace this, and obviously when I trace it, it's bigger than what I need. So I'm going to actually cut a little inside of that line, and I can always go back and trim it further if I need to. So when you get your supplies, so if you're buying the supply kit that comes with everything I just showed you, you will also have in the kit some, let me make sure, some glue, and, or not glue, it's actually Mod Podge. You can use that, or you can use, I don't know, let me make sure, some Rhinestone, and then you can use, 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 you can a hot glue gun. I actually like using a combination of both, and let me explain why. So the goal is to completely fill up all of the space. So if I'm putting bigger beads on here, there's going to be a lot of gaps, and so I want to fill in those gaps with these smaller beads and smaller jewels. So these are going to be very hard to hot glue, whereas these will be easier. So what I generally do is I will brush on some of the Mod Podge, and I start while that's sitting on there for a second, I start hot gluing some of these pieces down and then kind of sprinkle in the beads to fill in the space. So I'm going to go ahead, I've got my hot glue gun here. I'm gonna go ahead and glue on the little silver horn. So we've got that done. And again, you can use the Mod Podge on this if you prefer, or you can use the hot glue gun. The hot glue gun does not come with the craft kit, so just keep that in mind. I think most people who do crafts, even a lot of people who don't, generally tend to have a hot glue gun laying around the house. So, so a few things now. I want to make sure that the hair, like the mane and the tail, are a little bit different than the rest. But other than that, I'm going to kind of just start filling this in. So I have some jewels, some larger beads. I'm just laying these out for now. I'm not gonna lay out these really small beads. I don't want those all over the place. And then I have some flowers, and the flowers I'm going to use in the hair. And some of them are bigger, some are smaller. So it's, again, you know, kind of your preference, what you want to do. I think I'm gonna put some of these smaller ones up here. And I'm just kind of laying them out for now where I think I'm gonna want them to go. And I'm gonna put beads in these as well, so not just the flowers. Okay, so that should be at least enough to give me a general layout of what I want. Let me mix these a little more here. Purple. Okay, kind of along those lines. So when you begin doing this, I think it's easiest, like I said, to kind of put down some of the Mod Podge and use the hot glue gun as well. So I'm going to brush some of this on. There's no really right or wrong where you start. So I'm gonna put a good coat on here so that it's sticky. Okay, and then I'm going to use my hot glue gun and glue a few pieces down as well. And then because it has the wet Mod Podge underneath, then when I sprinkle in, like I said, when I sprinkle in the beads, it will fill in all of that. So there's no right or wrong. I am just putting these wherever I feel like it. Okay. And I'm just gonna do a section here so I can show you what happens when you start sprinkling in the beads so you can get an idea. Let's do a purple over here. Okay, one more. Okay, so now that I have that done, I am gonna dab a little bit more in a few more of these spots, and this is gonna dry clear. And I'm going to take, you could do just the silver or you can do the mix. I'm gonna do the mix. And you just kind of sprinkle them in. And this is going to make a bit of a mess, so make sure you're working in a spot that you're okay with it getting, you know, kind of messy. And a lot like when you work with glitter, when you get done with this and lift up your board and dump it over, you're gonna have pieces that fall out everywhere. So just be prepared for that. So don't just lift it up and, you know, and it falls all over your floor without expecting that, okay? All right. So you can see how it fills in the space here. If you want to, you know, get into these spaces a little bit more, you certainly can. It just kind of depends on how full you want to make sure, you know, that it is. The nice thing is that the Mod Podge will hold it, so wherever you cram those pieces, should stay pretty well. All right, so I used the mixed color to fill in here, and obviously I've got a ways to go. I'm gonna continue on doing this. Now, when I get to the mane, I'm actually going to use the silver as my background color. So I'm gonna do the silver beads and the flowers on the mane and the tail, and then everything else I'm gonna stick with this really colorful. That way it is, you know, I can distinguish the two from each other. So I'm gonna continue on filling all of this in, and then when I come back, I'm gonna show you a little bit more on how I work on the hair portion of the unicorn. So as you can see, I have a significant amount finished here. What I did was went through and kind of lined where the unicorn body meets the tail with the little silver rocaille beads. And then I also did it along her mane up here, which you can kind of see there under the flowers. And then, like I said before, I used the flowers on her mane and tail. That way you can kind of distinguish between that and her body. Got a few little stray pieces of glue I'll go back and get off of there. And then from there, I started with the largest beads and stones that I had and kind of just spaced them out and put them on. I used the hot glue gun for those. And then I have begun filling in the gaps. I have obviously a lot left to do. And I also wanted to point out on the face, I used a silver, that way, because I don't have any other silver stones or beads on here with the exception of the really little ones. I use the silver one as the eye. Obviously it's kind of You know, not very detailed, just kind of a general indication that an eye would be there. And then I'm gonna fill in all of the rest of the face with much smaller beads and rhinestones. So I'll use the little ones as well as these kind of like there's some little teardrop shape ones and little oval ones, but I don't want to use anything else that's much bigger around here. So I'm going to continue filling it all in. And then the last thing that I will do is I'm going to show you how we will, so when I come back, I'll show you how to attach the string so that it is ready to hang if someone wanted to hang it up. Obviously, it could also just be like propped up on a shelf. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up filling in all of the rest of the unicorn's body, and then I'll get right back. So now that I have the unicorn all filled in, the only other thing left to do is to put a little strand on the back, and this is completely optional. It's really up to you. So I have these long pieces here, and I'm just going to kind of fold them over so that they are in basically fourths. So now I've got like 4 of the purple and 4 of the pink. I'm going to tie a knot at one end. If I was putting this in my daughter's room, I would probably just set it on a shelf. I think I would like that better than it hanging on the wall, but it is completely your preference. So tie another knot at this end, like that. Trim off the extra. So I have this, and then what I'm going to do is carefully turn this over. And you're probably going to lose a few beads that may have been loose on there. And then just decide where you want it to go. So like if you want to glue it where you don't see it, you'll probably need to make 2 hooks. So one here and one here. Otherwise, you can do it like this. You have to be able to kind of account for the head part being higher up and a little top heavy. If you try to put your hook down here, it's going to fall forward. So I'm going to glue this. Right here, I'm going to put some extra glue because this is going to be a little bit heavy and I want to make sure it stays. So just pile some on there. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then the unicorn will be all finished up. So again, check out the link in the description below if you are interested in purchasing the kit to create this unicorn. That is it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, guys.